as promised, I am doing the homework. I was originally going to go for a hike, and I just woke up and I was like, I don't really feel like driving as much as I would love to be up in the mountains. The drive time, the energy, I felt like my energy was really, really low. So I listened to that and we slept in, and then we sat on the porch and drank coffee, and now we went for a walk and we are hanging out in a garden, and I'm going to read an excerpt that I just found, and I think it is very, very, very relevant. Not to mention the page number is 316, so interesting. All right, let's see. Hopefully we're not disturbing anybody or in anybody's way, but we're going to go ahead and read this chapter. Okay. The practice of intentional solitude. In the gray mists of morning, the now grown child kneels on a rock in the sea and converses with none other than the seal woman. This intentional and daily practice of solitude and communing allows him to be near home in a critical way, not only by diving down to the soul place for more sustained periods of time, but just as important by being able to call the soul back to the topside world for brief periods. In order to converse with the wild feminine, a woman must temporarily leave the world and inhabit a state of aloneness in the oldest sense of the word. Long ago, the word alone was treated as two words, all one. To be all one meant to be wholly, to be in oneness, either essentially or temporarily. This is precisely the goal of solitude, to be all one. It is the cure for frazzled state that is so common in modern women, the one that makes her, as the old saying goes, leap onto her horse and ride off in all directions. Solitude is not the absence of energy or action, as some believe, but rather a boon of wild provisions transmitted to us from the soul. In ancient times, as recorded by physician healers, religious and mystics, purposeful solitude was both palliative and preventative. It was used to heal fatigue and to prevent weariness. Excuse me. I'm trying to read a story here, sir. Sam, you're such a good boy. Coda, can you come here, please? Can you come here? Can you hear me over his mouth breathing? Love you. Okay, where were we? Ooh, yeah, I like this. It was used to heal fatigue and to prevent weariness. It was also used as an oracle, as a way of listening to the inner self to solicit advice and guidance, otherwise impossible to hear in the din of daily life. Women from ancient times, as well as modern Aboriginal women, often set a sacred place aside for this communion and inquiry. Traditionally, it is said to have been set aside during women's menses, for during that time, women's lives much closer to self-knowing than usual. The membrane between the unconsciousness and the conscious minds thin considerably. Feelings, memories, sensations are normally blocked by consciousness, pass over into cognitive without resistance. When a woman takes solitude during this time, she has more material to sift through. However, in many exchanges with tribal women from North Central and South Africa, as well as feminine prodigy of some of the Slavic tribes, I find that the women's place, in quotes, women's place, were used anytime, not just during menses, but more so that each woman often had her own woman's place, consisting of a certain tree placed at the water's edge, or some natural forest or desert room or ocean cave. My experience in analyzing women leads me to believe that much of modern women's premenstrual crankiness is not just a physical syndrome, but it is equally attributed to her being thwarted in her need to take time away in reviving and renewing herself. I always laugh when I hear someone quoting early anthropologists who claim that menstruating women of various tribes were considered unclean and forced to leave the village until they were over it. All women know that even if there were such a forced ritual exile, every single woman, to a woman, would, when her time came, leave the village hanging her head mournfully, at least, until she was out of sight, and then suddenly break into a jig down the path, cackling all the way. That's my favorite line of all time. Also, that's exactly what we do when we head to the mountains. We cackle. Yeah. You itchy, bub? Okay. Good. Coda has now taken his, he wants to watch the other direction. Also, there's a ton of little bugs all around, which is very cute. Okay. As in the tale, if we establish a regular practice of intentional solitude, we invite a conversation between ourselves and the wild soul that comes near to our shore. We do this not only just to be near the wild and soulful nature, that as in the mystical tradition since time out of mind, the purpose of this union is for us to ask questions and for the soul to advise. How does one call up the soul? There are many ways, through meditation or in the rhythms of running, drumming, singing, writing, painting, music making, visions of great beauty, prayer, contemplation, rite and ritual, standing still, even entrancing moods and ideas. All are psychic summons that call the soul up from its dwelling place. However, I advocate using these methods that require no props, no special location, and that can be accomplished as easily in a minute as in a day. This means using one's mind to summon the soul self. Everyone has at least one familiar state of mind in which, to affect this kind of solitude. For myself, solitude is rather a folded up forest that I carry with me everywhere and unfurl around myself when I need. I love that. I sit at the feet of the great old trees of my childhood. From that vantage point, I ask questions, receive my answers, and then my woodland back, oh my god, what does that say? Experience in immediate brief informative. Truly the only thing one needs for intentional solitude is the ability to tune out distraction. A woman can lead to detach from other people, noises, no matter the midst of contest board meetings, no matter she is stalked by a house that needs to be cleaned by bulldozer, no matter if she's surrounded by 80, no idea what that word is, relatives, fighting, singing, and dancing their way through 3-day wake. If you have ever been a teenager, you definitely know how to tune out. If you have ever been the mother of an insomniac 2-year-old, you know how to take intentional solitude. It is not hard to do, just hard to remember to do. Though we all might prefer to have some kind of sojourn in home that is much more sustained, wherein we depart and no one knows where we are and we return much later, it is also very good to practice taking solitude in a room full of 1,000 persons. It may sound odd at first, but frankly, people converse with the soul all the time. But rather than entering the state consciously, many fall into it suddenly, through a reverie, or at once snap to and find themselves in it. Because it is considered such an untoward thing, we have learned to camouflage this interval of soulful communication by naming it in very mundane terms. So it has been named thusly, talking to oneself, or being lost in thought, staring off into space, or daydreaming. I really like the amount of quotations used in this whole part. This euphemistic language is inculcated by, no idea, many segments of our culture, for unfortunately we are taught from childhood onward to feel embarrassed if found communing with soul, and especially in pedestrian environments such as work or school. Somehow, the educational and business world has felt that such a time spent being all one is unproductive, and when in fact it is the most good. Oh my god. It is the wild soul who channels ideas into our imagination, whereupon we sort through these to find which we will implement, which are most applicable and productive. It is commingling with the soul that causes us to glow bright with spirit, willing to assert our talents, whatever they might be. It is that brief, even momentary, but intentional union that supports us to live out our inner lives, so that instead of burying them in self-inversion of shame, fear, or reprisal attack, lethargy, compliancy, or other limiting reasons, we let our inner lives wave, flare, blaze on the outside from seeing us all. What's up, Sam? Oh, thank you. It's very nice. Thank you. Good boy. That's a good boy. So in addition to gaining information from whatever we wish to see into, the taking of solitude can be used to assess how we ourselves are doing in any sphere we choose. Earlier in the tale, we saw the child stay under the sea for 7 days and nights, and this being learning one of the oldest cycles of nature. 7 is oft considering a woman's number, a mystical number synopsis, with the division of the moon cycle into 4 parts and equal to menses, waxing, half, full, and waning. It has been usual in the old ethic women's traditions that at the full moon cycle an inquiry should be made into the states one being and the state of one's friendship, one's home life, one's mate, and one's children. In such a state of solitude we do this, and for this during that time we bring all aspects of ourselves to bear at a point in time, and we pull them, inquire of them, finding out we soul wishes right now, and then gaining, if possible. In this way, we take vital soundings of our current conditions. There are many aspects of our lives for us to assess on a continuing basis: habitat, work, creative life, family, mate, child, mother, father, sexuality, spiritual life, and so on. The measurement used in assessment is simple: what needs less and what needs more. We are asking from the indicative self not just stilted logic, not eco-wise, but wild women-wise. What work adjustments, loosening, or emphasizing needs need to take place. We are still on proper course in spirit and soul, in one's inner life showing on the outside. What needs battening, protection, ballast, weights, and what needs disposed of, moved, or changed. After a period of practice, the cumulative effects of intentional solitude begins to act like a vital respiratory system, a natural rhythm of adding knowledge, making minute adjustments, and deleting the unusable over and over again. It is not only potent, but pragmatic, for solitude lives low on the food chain. Though it costs someone intention and follow-through, it can be done at any time in any place. Over time, as you practice, you will find yourself designing your own queries in soul. Sometimes you may only have one question. Other times you have none whatsoever and just wish to rest stock, breathing together. Oh. Here. You're such a punk. Ready? Good. Yes. Good job. Ready? Break, please. Down. Orbit. Orbit. Good. There you go. Okay. Orbit. 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 Yeah, good. Orbit. Orbit. Yeah, good job. Yes. Oh, missed you. Good. Flats. Break. Ready? Flats. No. Flats. Yes, that's it. Flats. Break. Good. Whoa. Wait. Flats. Yes. Flats. Break. Go away. Sam, place. Got her. Release. Sit. Good. Okay. Sit. Good boy, Sam. Got it. Yes, good. Here you go. Middle. Middle. Yeah, there it is. Good. Put it down. Get it. Get it. Got it. Hold it. Hold it. Losing her own timeline.
You didn't want to be on this side of the fountain anyway.
Rain is too bad or it's okay?
I don't think it's really raining much, but if you want to wait, that's fine. That would be one of those people that
Sam, break. You go middle. Photo. Middle. Yes. Down. Down. Got it. Good boy, Sam. Down. Such a bad boy. Please. Middle. Good boy, Sam. Photo. Middle. That's it. Down. Good. That's good. Go down. Wait.
maybe stand near where that weed is. What about
Yeah, you get him. You're gonna get him. Hold him down. Oh, hold him down. Sam, now, here. Good. Here. Oh, he's so angry. Oh, he's so angry. Oh, he's so angry. Sam, here. We're not being good. Sam. Sit. Down. Things that are really deep. Oh, maybe deep. Yeah. When was the last time you played outside in the rain?